Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Three-Lay, and welcome to Boss Rush Island 4. Today we're going to be starting off with Benjamin as our hero, and we're just going to be placing down a 302 tack shooter, and having enough room to place down a second 302 tack shooter. Of course, we're not going to be able to instantly buy the upgrades, but we're going to buy them over time. Get tier 3 first, and then the crosspath, of course, as that does always save money. Then we're going to get a boomerang, and you just want to put it right up next to the crater, right here. Get it to a 302, which allows it to deal double damage. And then we're going to want a bomb shooter in about this position on strong targeting. We're going to get this guy up to a 032, and then after the 6th goal, we can sell our 2 tack shooters to get this guy up to a mob assassin. The mob assassin we are going to tech bot. Now we are going to get 3 mob assassins, which means later you're going to have to spam the ability anyways. But get Ben down, and for now, the ability will automatically be shooting. We're going to be getting a second mob eliminator. All again, make sure that you are having it on strong, and of course the boomerang should be on first. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and use code YOBOY, that's YOBOY, in the BTD6 store if this guide helps you out. But anyways, we're going to go for a third mob eliminator now. Now, these guys are a little bit risky to buy, at least a third of them. You could buy a Morglaves instead, but here I decided with 100 lives spare, it'll be fine. So we go for a third mob eliminator and then get Morglaves. But if you guys are below on lives, maybe you have less monkey knowledge, etc., you guys can get the Morglaves first. After we get up Morglaves, we're going to want to buff it up with a 200 Jungle Drums Village, and then we're going to be quickly getting the primary mentoring, as that gives a pretty solid, I believe, 15 or 20% cooldown reduction. And by the way, this entire time, I have one hand whose entire job is just smashing the #1 hotkey, because that's what my mob eliminators are set to, because you want to be using those abilities as fast as humanly possible. If you're really lazy, you can get 3 tech bots, but I wouldn't recommend that, that's expensive. We're going to get down a 004 balloon trap here, and then get a monkey farmer for it. You can ignore the engineer for now. I think it would be much better just to get the camo crosspath on the village, as that's what I end up doing later anyways. However, if you really want to follow me exactly, you can just get down a 030 engineer for now, as that'll be able to handle your camos for now. Once you're at about $15,000, I did it early at $14,000, but you guys should wait till $15,000. You can sell the bottom 2 bomb shooters in order to upgrade the last one to a Moab eliminator. I think I've been saying eliminator the whole time. That's my bad. You should have been saying assassin the whole time, and then just you want to make sure that the assassin is on the eliminator. Eliminator's tier 5, assassin's tier 4. That's my bad. You're going to want to now buy the cleansing foam and then target it above the trap, so pretty much they should be able to go to the trap first, and then if they miss the trap, it'll hit the cleansing foam and then go into the trap. I hope that kind of makes sense. You just want to target it above the trap. That's TLDR. You can see that I do end up buying the camo crosspath on my village because it is needed, right? I kind of was trying to cheap out on it, but especially in round 38 with all these camo rainbows, I have to get it. We're going for the big trap, of course, as the big trap is going to be able to make us, I believe, well over $200,000 throughout the rest of this run, which is pretty awesome. Now, the round 40 Moabs can appear a little bit scary, which is why I set my bomb shooter to first targeting. Now, if the Bloonarius is actually inside of the crater, it's way less scary because the bomb shooter's frags will be able to hit it, but I just wanted to be safe, and so I set it to first targeting. Up next, you're going to want to get down a 204 Monkey Village to be buffing up your XXL trap. This guy is going to, 1, give it 15% attack speed, which is slightly helpful, but much more importantly, it's going to be buffing the amount of cash it drops by, I believe, 85% more, because it's 60% from the Monkey Town and another 25% from Monkey City. Very, very worth it. Then we're going to be going for a Mad. Now you are going to want to get up the jungle drums for it first, and then just get up the tier 4 and target it towards the boss. Once you have about $45,000, you can sell the Moab eliminator and buy a Mad instead. Also upgrade your engineer to an overclock so that you can overclock it, then use the Mad ability. Now in terms of targeting the Mad, you just want to make sure that it's able to shoot with 1 rocket inside of the crater, and then the rest of it, the rocket storm and stuff, it'll explode against the wall and be fine. While the Mad ability is going off, you need to, as soon as possible, get up a Spirit of the Forest, The reason you need to do it so fast is just to handle all the leaking balloons, but also in order to get you as much money as possible, as this guy's going to generate a decent bit of money. It's not too significant, but considering the fact that it'll handle every single balloon, it's worth it. Then we're going to be going for a call to arms and homeland defense as soon as possible, and then of course you're just going to want to be doing the mad trick ability, where you use the call to arms, you use the overclock, and then you use the mad ability all at the same time. I ended up placing down an Inferno Ring, however that was the wrong decision. I forgot that we were going for a Boomerang Paragon instead of a Tack Shooter Paragon. However, if you are significantly behind, you can go for an Inferno Ring and get a Tack Shooter Paragon, as you will probably not be able to afford the Boomerang. But here we go, we get up the Glaive Lord, and then we're going to go for, again, the Mad Trick, right? You just want to use that ability. Don't really worry about the DDTs. Assuming your Spirit of the Forest has a 250 cross path, you should be A-okay against all of them. We're going to get a permacharge in the back though, just to be extra safe, and the Moab Dom is kind of just going to be attacking the boss for now, helping deal a little bit of damage, as well as being able to snipe inside of the final crater, and using its homeland defense, it has the MIB buff, allowing the Boomerang to hit anything, including DDTs. We're going to use the rest of our tower slots on just spamming down a bunch of 022 Boomerangs. You can get a couple of them to tier 3, like for example, I think I got 2 of them to tier 3, just because of misclicks, but it's not at all necessary. I end up getting, I believe, a pretty high degree without upgrading any to tier 3, because in general, you're already getting most of the tiers required, so we just need a couple more pops, and that's what the tier 5s are for. Now, you can kind of mess around with the boomerang targeting and which hand the boomerang's throwing it in order to get a couple of extra pops against Bloonarius using the permacharge, but it's not really needed. What you should really be focusing on is overclocking the Mad, making sure that it's targeted so that one of the missiles can hit inside of the crater, and of course just using, call to arms and the homeland, everything explodes and does a lot of damage. You can see here that we've been saving up an absolute ton of money. We have well over $200,000. In fact, I think we had $216,000 before we started selling anything, which is $55,000 more than is absolutely necessary. Now, what I'd personally recommend is you save up to $200,000 on the dot before you go for the Boomerang Paragon. That just makes things way safer, but if you want to, you could save a little bit more, save a little bit less. That's completely up to you. I'm going to be going for a Legend of the Night here as my final tower, just to help out a little bit. Legend of the Night, what it mostly does, I like to use it against Bloonarius because it'll help give you a couple of extra seconds at the end after you leak. However, I think it would probably be better to just go for a Mad, because the Mad's going to add more damage. But hey, I got really lucky and ended up with a very nice score. Hope this guide helped you out. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, join the Discord if you need to find a good team. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out. Bye.